the brain behind all that we're doing here today, to give us an opening remark, and is none other than Mr. Valentine Ozigbo, the special advisor to Mr. Peter Obi on strategic alliances and technology. Mr. Valentine, you have the floor, please.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am once again deeply grateful to everyone, especially the hosts, the co-hosts, Mo and Maureen, and Emir Saddam, and most especially to the man I have very tremendous respect for, Dr. Bitrus Pogu. He is a fearless man who stands for justice, equity, and principles. I have had several interactions and dealings that I can testify what it's made of. And I am sure, just like you've been impressed with all the other engagements, you probably we probably must have saved the best for the last. He may be the youngest of them all, but trust me, there's more energy in youthfulness. So I want to especially welcome him and welcome all of you. Let's educate ourselves, inspire ourselves, and get ready for the battle ahead. God bless you.
God bless you too, sir. A profile of our guest speaker today. He's a graduate of chemistry from the University of Middlebury, and he holds a PhD from the University of Manchester Institute of Science and Technology, UMIST, United Kingdom. He's an activist and leader of the Chibok nationality from 1998 to 2016, and today is the leader of the Middle Belt Forum since 2018. Dr. Pogu has been committed to the New Nigerian Project and is a passionate supporter of the Peter Obi presidential project. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome with great humility to this platform, Dr. Bitrus Pogu. Dear sir, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
It's our pleasure, sir. And it's so great to hear your voice. Just before we engage you on this platform, sir, I would like to take a moment to pay our deepest respects to an elder statesman from the Middle Belt region, Air Commodore Dan Suleiman, retired, a former military governor of Plateau State and a one-time Nigerian ambassador to the Russian Federation. He was also a strong voice in the Middle Belt region and one of the outstanding leaders of the Middle Belt Forum. He passed on to glory on February 1 at the age of 80. It is instructive to note that one of the last things he did before transiting to glory was to endorse the candidacy of Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party. May his gentle soul rest in peace.
Amen.
Amen. I mean, the Middle Belt region, and indeed all lovers of justice in Nigeria who interacted with him, be graced with the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss.
Amen.
On that note, we welcome you. And I'll go straight to the point. I want to engage you on the Middle Belt. It appears to be strategically placed, right, to both hold the north and south of Nigeria together and to determine the political future of Nigeria. In that, wherever the Middle Belt tilts to, that is where Nigeria will go. So, sir, as leader of the Middle Belt Forum, what is the position of the Middle Belt on power rotation and the next presidency of our nation?
That had already been determined. We partnered with our southern brothers back in 2018. The partnership with Pandev, Ohaneze Ndibo, and Utafenifere, forming a new bloc, which we feel should be able to guide Nigeria in the right direction. And given that drive, which we all agreed to, we said, this time around, after 8 years of General Buhari, a northerner, the presidency should go to the south. And of course, Our southern brothers, that's Haneze Ndibo, Pandef, and Afenifere, joined, in this debate and this discourse to say yes, not just to say the South, because the Southwest had had General Obasanjo or President Obasanjo for 8 years, 99 to 2007. After that, it came to the north through Yaradua and went back to the south. And President Jonathan was in office for nearly 6 years from the south. So not only is it supposed to go to the south, but to the southeast. All agreed to that. And we based our argument, our debate, our discourse on equity, fairness, and justice. And remember, the late General Abacha was the one who introduced the geopolitical zones, which is not constitutional because it is not a constitutional entity, but determines so many political issues which we attend to in this country. And as a result, we also passionately that this is a good arrangement because the arrangement is that there should be equity, there should be power rotation. And the political parties, major political parties, adopted this. The PDP started, and it is there in their constitution. The APC didn't have it in their constitution, but they honored it, and they also said the president should go to the south. But in our own consideration, we not just stopped at it going to the south, but for equity, fairness, and justice, it should go to the south. So that's our position.
Thank you, sir. Very well said. Dr. Mo, are you there to engage the president of the Middle Belt Forum?
Yes, I'm here. Incidentally, he's he's a father. He's somebody that I have great respect for each time I meet him in forums. Dr. Pogu would never. Yeah, he's going to. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We lost you for a bit.
Okay. I'm always confident of him to not only deliver in terms of his proficiency of eloquency and articulation of the issues rightly, but he has what it takes to point a direction for us, not just as middle belt people, but um, he has something that, puts him as a leader of what, Nigeria, the black race, and Africa. And that's my respect goes to him. And I'm excited that he's here today, and he has done so much. I mean, we can give credit to him on so many levels. And as we engage, we're going to get to know Dr. Pogu very better. He's very objective, very fearless leader, and also very decisive. He comes on very handy as a mentor, to the young people, especially in the middle belt, who have been the brunt of so many of the crises and the so many things that have happened that have gone wrong and awry with our nation as a people. Sir, as a form, we know that you have been engaging with the different parties, having to do with the PANDEF, the southern, the different quarters of the nation in terms of harnessing what is required for us to do as we move forward as a people. I just wanted to find out from you that particularly we know from reliable sources from the media, that the Middle Belt Forum, along with Ohaneze Indigbo, Afenifere, and Pandef, from the Niger Delta region, have endorsed, in principle, Mr. Peter Obi as the next president of Nigeria. What we do not know is whether the Middle Belt as a forum is also engaging or has engaged with the North Elders Forum, on this same issue. We'd like to know from you, sir, what is What is the status quo on this?
Um, what do you mean by engaging? Because the four groups, that is Pandev, Ohanese, Dibo, Afenifere, and the Middle Belt, are on the same page. We meet regularly, we discuss issues, and we approach issues as a collective group. No divisions at all. So we are all united on the agenda, which issue, that is a presidency of southeastern extraction, and we have ended up zooming right onto Peter Obi as that candidate. So we have gone beyond just engagement because we are determined. We have also made some very strong statements that, given that we've decided it should go to the south and therefore to the southeast and now to Peter Obi, we didn't talk of Peter Obi, who decided it was going to be Labour as a platform. We said we were not going to engage anybody from the north. In fact, we decided that we were going to campaign against them. And we didn't mince words when we said that. And um, as it is, we are soliciting support from our northern brothers, telling them, look, join this bandwagon of equity, fairness, and justice, because we want to birth the new Nigeria that will benefit all of us. And if it is engagement of our brothers up north, like Northern Elders Forum, Arewa Consultative Forum, yeah, we have reached out to them, and we will continue to reach out to them. And not only that, you can see how Peter Obi picked his running mate, the vice president. You can certainly see the hand of the North in that selection, because what we had in our kitty initially, who is competent to run with him. But the fact that it ended up with a northern candidate, it means that the North is also engaged in this agenda. So anybody who thinks it is just the four of us, that is the Middle Belt, Pandev, Hanese Ndibo, and Afenifere, that person is wrong. You can see the hand of the North also in it. Dati is a younger brother to the spokesperson of the Northern Elders Forum. So you can see that there. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the insight, sir. We need to hear this from people like you. You know, there's so much information flying uh, around the country, but when people like you talk with authority, we know that for sure we can rest with what you have said. It's good to know that conversations are, are ongoing and have been had. It's also good to know that there are collaborations between all regions of the country to determine the next presidency of our country. Thank you for the feedback, sir.
Thank you.
I don't know if our dear co-host, Maureen, are you there? Oh wow. Okay, let me go. Sir, let me engage you on. You were the leader of Chibok nationality for a while. You know,
Yeah.
I believe that gives you a front row seat and deep understanding, you know, as to the peculiar security challenges of the Middle Belt region. Can you please share your thoughts on why the Middle Belt has continued to suffer sustained attacks by insurgents and what you think the solutions are?
Thank you so much. That's an area that interests me so much. You see, if you go back to the introductory part of your speech, you said the Middle Belt is like the glue that is holding the South and the North. And the Middle Belt as a region is in the Guinea, part of South Sudan savannah, Guinea savannah, with lush uh, grass, lands, and very good for agricultural production. And the Middle Belt region, which a name given actually by the British, not by us, because when the forebearers started the struggle, they had a different name. But the British said, "Look, you occupy a region which covers this to this, and that is the middle belt of the country, Nigeria." Now, our brothers up north, for interests, which to me is a bit selfish, because there are better ways of addressing some of these things. Unleashed terror. Today, so many reasons are being adduced to why the terror has been going on. Some see it as, people who are adventurous in religious, don't see it that way. I see religion just as a tool rather than the end game of the whole thing. The whole thing is political, and it is about land. This lush land full of rivers, etc., attracts these people who feel they should have been the owners rather than just people who pass by, had their cattle, etc. So, attacks have been launched over time to dispossess people of their land for pastoral purposes, or to occupy those lands because they have rich mineral resources. All these account to what is going on. Now, if one, should look and, factor what Al Mustafa said recently, because of his campaign, he released some information. And we tried some fact check on those information, and I can assure you that much of it is true. That there's an indoctrination technique to the Boko Haram, that the whole thing is about the mineral resources, and they created all these killings and whatever as a diversionary technique, and that the NGOs. So all those things, we had a fast fact check on them, and they are true. So it is not only for land for the pastoralists, but also for the mineral resources of the Middle Belt. So, sir, because of that, we've had lots of attacks. You can see that the conspirators who are collaborating with these people, many of whom were imported into this country to partner with the other criminals in the country to unleash terror on Nigerians, have ensured that when people are dispossessed of their ancestral land, they are never returned. They leave them in IDP camps when these illegalities continue. And in some areas, sir, let me give an example with Nasarawa. There's a lot of exploitation of our mineral resources in Nasarawa, and nobody even knows what is being exploited. And I will tell Nigeria for free, the governor of Nasarawa has ceded a large expanse of land here and there to Dangote. They are exploiting mineral resources under the guise of sugarcane plantation. Go to the area, there is no sugarcane plant. They are mining, taking out products covertly, and shipping them out. We don't even know what product it is. Now, these are the problems we are facing in the Middle Belt, and this is why we are facing it. Land in terms of agricultural produce and mineral resources is attracting, criminals and exploiters using violence, unfortunately, to dispossess people of their ancestral lands just because of greed for land and for the mineral resources in the land.
Okay, sir. So, what's the way forward? What do you think would bring a stop to this trend?
Very much. You see, we need good government in place. When you have good leadership, this insecurity can be addressed in a twinkle of an eye. When there is political will to address it. And number two, government should be able to allow restructuring. The people should exploit their resources, and through restructuring, uh, to government, and will go away from this unitary system of government where people up here for their interests would like to take everything. Can you it has never happened in Nigeria that we couldn't even meet our quota of oil production. People have been mining gold in Zamfara. We've never been told how much of that has gone into the federal coffers. We don't know what is being mined in Nasarawa. There are some areas in Nasarawa and Kogi where coal is on the surface. And clean coal, devoid of contamination, which can be used even for microchips. And all these are being taken illegally by people who are exploiting this country. And it is good government that we are lacking. Let's have the right people in government at the national level. Let's try to structure this country, and we can address some of these issues. We can address the issue of pastoralists easily by saying we know every community in Nigeria know their local Fulani live together. It is all this criminality that brought the import of so many herdsmen whose origins we don't even know. I've seen some cows, which the kind of breed which I've never seen in my life, with horns shaking as they move, big head and all that kind of thing. All these are not Nigerians, and we can address that problem by introducing ranching, but let it be community based. Because we know our local planning, we've lived together, we can accommodate them with a good government policy. So there are many ways of addressing, but the important thing is good government in place, strong institutions. Because if we don't have strong institutions, even if good policies are passed on by government at whatever level, those weak institutions would still spoil those policies, and implementation will be impossible. But with strong institutions and good government, we can make it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. It's I like the fact that you're passionate about these things, you know. But I would like to know, do the people of the Middle Belt also share this passion? Um, Given that you've taken this position, the Middle Belt Forum has taken this position.
Mhm.
Are we, can we can you share with us, sir, uh, what to expect in the 2023 general elections, especially with regards to the presidential election
Of
across
course,
the Middle?
we have already, chosen somebody who we know is competent, who we know has the capacity and the energy to move Nigeria to the kind of talking about in Peter Obi. And I can assure you, our people are mobilizing to ensure that he gets there so that we can birth the new Nigeria we're all looking for. We are not against anybody from the north, from the south, from the east, from the west. We are only after a Nigeria that every Nigerian will be, confident of, to say, yes, this is my country. Just like if today an American is affected by anything anywhere in the world, America will take its whole force support of that citizen. We would want a Nigeria that would also stand for its citizens in whatever form, and would deploy whatever means to uh, uh, better the life of every citizen. So we have already taken our decision, and we are going to work hard to ensure that by 25th, we vote massively for Peter Obi, so that Peter Obi would come in and Nigeria we all aspire for. So, sir, uh, let all Nigerians know that the man that can do the job for us, who has the energy, who has the know-how, who He's not going to be spending much of his time in hospital, but rather doing the job. Who, even now, look at it. When he gets to a place and he finds people in some pain, he visits them. Even when they tell him there is a security risk, he goes there because he believes they are Nigerians. The person who will believe that a Nigerian is a Nigerian, not that they are second-class citizens and first-class citizens. That's the man we are working for, and we believe we are going to vote him into office.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm sure Nigerians are eager to ask you questions. So at this time, we would like to open the platform for Nigerians to engage with you directly. Emma Saddam, are you there? Miss Maureen, are you there?
Yeah, hello,
Oh,
Franklyn, I can hear you.
finally, we'll get to hear you.
Yes, my goodness. I was like, this is what my people will say. Village people are after me today. Oh my goodness. But I'm so happy to finally have the opportunity to speak.
Mm.
Dr. Bitrus Pogu inaonisa.
Lafiya lau
Inagajiya sa.
ba gajiya in ji Bahaushe.
Sannunku da kokari.
Thank you, Sannu.
My name is Maureen. I have met you a couple of times
Mhm.
at that very point where we gathered most times in the last couple of 8 years to share in your grief, to share in your pain, to share in that one moment that we said we were fighting for the soul of Nigeria. I have come in contact with you at the Unity Fountain. That place is a place that holds so many memories for me. The
Mm.
first time I ever saw a group of men gathered together in one place and weeping like babies was at the Unity Fountain.
Mm.
Just could imagine my father, who took me to school, Federal Government Girls College, Onitsha, when I was just 11 years old, dropped me off, came back home. And the next thing they get the news that their daughter, who is speaking right now, has been abducted. All I needed to do was to put myself, coming from the north, another
Mm.
part of the north, that today there is no peace, that today, just as you have mentioned, we are being displaced from our homes, our means of livelihood are being taken from us. We have become internally displaced people in our own homeland. We are called minorities. I come from southern Kaduna. I have
Mm.
shared a few moments with you, and those moments were very teachable moments. I am
Mm.
so happy to see that this space was tagged hashtag living legends Nigeria. You know, when I saw this, it spoke to me. I celebrate legends, our living legends, the people that we should really celebrate, the people that we should put out there for the world to see, for the young ones to know that there are people we can begin to model our lives around them. I am happy because when I saw the title of this space, I said, "Gosh, how did they come up with this?" Because a lot of us, we have lost touch with our history. A lot of us, we have lost touch with the good people. A lot of us, we have lost touch with the people that we should grow up and hear about them and hear of their contributions and hear where they stood when Nigeria needed to hear their voices. I am happy to reconnect with you once again. That very day that I walked into the Unity Fountain, I will never forget that day. And one of the reasons that I was so hurt in that particular moment was because I have made connection, emotional connection with people like you and other very poor parents of our Chibok daughters. But then Nigeria at that time was busy with politicking and saying, oh no, no child is missing. Oh, there are no, oh, it's one, oh, 5 girls, oh, 10 girls. But they had forgotten before then, so many other things have happened in the Northeast. Buninyadi had happened where 59 of our students, our children, men, little young men, and young girls were brutally slaughtered. And the nation slept on that. And the terrorists kept advancing. They kept advancing. And they took 276 daughters from one community. And all Nigerians were engaged in is whether these people exist or not. Before Chibok, I had never heard of Chibok. I had never knew that a place like that even existed in Nigeria. But on the day our Chibok girls were taken, that was the first time I heard of the town called Chibok. And I come from the north. And there I was with men my father's age, crying and weeping, kneeling down and begging that please, the government of the then ex-president Goodluck Jonathan should bring back their daughters. And the reason why over 100 are still in captivity today is because they don't matter. It's because we haven't dignified the lives of the average Nigerian. It's because we have said that when you are nameless, poor, faceless in this country, then you do not deserve to be called a citizen of Nigeria. That's why we have labels like majority and minority. That's why people like me in my state, no matter how much I merit to be given because of where I come from, Zango and Katav local government, I am being denied that opportunity. That must stop. I am proud to hear that you all have taken a stand, because there comes a time in everyone's life that they must learn how to take a stand. Happen. He who stands for nothing must fall for something. So we might as well come together and stand for something. Thank you, Dr. Bitrus Pogu. Thank you for remaining consistent. Thank you for remaining firm. Thank you for your commitment. It is names like yours, Pa Ayo Adebanjo, and the likes of all others who have chosen to take a stand that we should be seeing on our streets, that we should be seeing on our buildings, not glorifying thieves and making our children to mold their lives around people like that. Meanwhile, people like you are not celebrated. Whoever came up with the idea of this space and tagged it Living Legends, God bless you. We are in full control of our destiny, which we shall make a date with on 25th. I was watching Channels TV recently, and there was this particular program, Arise TV. And there was this particular program they had. I just came across it mistakenly. And it was a lecturer or the Department of Arts and Culture, or Department of Arts or so, University of Ife, that has sculptured the face of our daughters, 276 of them. And they have it in one of their centers in University of Ife, some French sculptors. And I said, where are the Nigerian sculptors? When are we going to begin to act that the lives of every Nigerian matter? It took people from a European country to come and sculpt the faces of our daughters, to remind us that they are still in captivity. And as Mr. Peter Obi says, for as long as our people are in IDPs, we are all IDPs. One thing that hit me so much on that day when I was watching that program was when one of the French sculptors said, for the young girls who were taken when they were 14 years, add 8 years to their ages, they are now 22. So they tried to figure how they would look like right now. So they brought in their parents. And from the faces of the parents, if they are living, because a lot of them have passed away and we haven't honored them. Nigeria is bleeding with the souls of innocent people, and there shall be no peace for as long as there is no justice for all of these lost souls. And they had to use the faces, the image they could capture of the parents if they were both alive, to at least imagine what the children would look like right now. You all here, just for a second, imagine your loved ones were taken. Today, we can't sleep with our eyes closed. All the places that Dr. Bitrus has mentioned, the entire North right now, there is no peace. Meanwhile, you don't see the governors come together to speak about the insecurity that is ravaging the North. They only come to speak for their selfish interests. I know what it means for you to take a stand in the midst of such woes, Dr. Pogu. But you have been taking such stands. When your daughters were taken and you were told not to cry, you cried out loud and the world heard you. The world will still hear you again for the stand you are taking. You and the fellow living legends. The world will hear you. We have heard you. I am here listening to you, and I am just reminiscing of all your remaining daughters that are still in captivity. Thank you for honoring us. Thank you for being here. Thank you. May the Almighty bless you. And in this our lifetime, Nigeria will work not just only for the majority, but for us that they have also tagged the minority. Like I tell people, you tell me there are three major languages in Nigeria: Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. Then you tell me that one of the major languages do not have a right to also come to the center. Then what happens to me? That means you have erased my identity completely. But they had better get used to it, because on the 26th or 27th of February, by the special grace of God, an Igbo man will be the president of this country. That change must happen. Thank you, Dr. Pogo, for being on this platform, one of our living legends. We will celebrate you all, even if the nation fails to do so. The minute sanity returns to this country, we will return sanity to all of our environments, to all of our minds, to all of our heads. We must get it right. Nigeria is a vast criminal scene, and we must ensure that we get Peter into office, because he's a man who has shown those 5 C's: character, competence, capacity, courage, and compassion. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Maureen. I didn't see that coming at all. Thank you. Thank you. To Nigerians now, we would open the space for you to interact with Dr. Pogo. Please, we want you to ask questions, and we want you to kindly limit your questions to just 1 minute, so we can take a lot of people. This is the last in this series. Before the elections, we'll come up with additional guests, we assure you. So please make your questions short. If you have any questions, you can indicate by giving the hand sign, so we can give you the opportunity to ask a question. Daniel has requested, Daniel J, you've requested the mic, so I believe you have a question for Dr. Pogo. Daniel, please ask your question.
Please, I want to ask, what are they in a state like Kogi State, which the governor has not given people a chance to campaign?
Being called upon again to like extend.
Come again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you, but I didn't get the question.
Content related, cited at it.
He said, I think I heard the question. He said, what are you doing? What are you doing about Kogi State, where the governor has stopped others other than his party from campaigning, sir?
I visited Kogi State severally. I have had town hall meetings with our people. I have met the traditional rulers, especially the chairman of the traditional council, the Ataigala Gahabaidu. And I've told him about the Middle Belt agenda and project. And so the governor is a politician. He comes and goes. The people are there. So I can tell you, you come and see the result. It doesn't matter what the governor does. People who know what to do as middle belters in Kogi, because Kogi is a middle belt state, will vote for Obi massively. Just wait and see the result.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Um, Umar, Umar Abdullahi, please, you have the floor. Ask your questions. 1 minute. Ask your question. 1 minute, please. Umar Abdullahi.
Yeah, I want to say a big well done to everybody on this platform. Uh, Mine is more of a contribution and later a question. Number one is please, for all those concerned, it is good that we tell our people, you know, yes, some of us do not have PVCs. Myself, I have my PVC, of course, is for OB all the way, right? Tell everybody, please, it's important, sir. I appreciate, we all appreciate your efforts in the Middle Belt, but please, everybody in the North, South, everywhere should come out. Whether you have your PVC or not, you're voting or not on that day, come out. Look, during Atiku's presidential election, I was among those who worked for him when Peter B was his vice, and before that, I had also worked for Jonathan. And look, even though I'm in the PDP circle, I'm not a PDP flag bearer. I'm a consultant. I'm a media consultant. Now, look, the thing is, the secret here, it is not even the weapons. I'm dropping this, even though this is supposed to be an in-house conversation, but please take this very, very serious, very, very serious, everybody. Tell our people in the villages, you must not have your PVCs to necessarily go where they vote. You don't need to be, just be around there. We need everybody to come out. When you're able to come out, they see the population, they see the crowd, they will go back with their weapons. Because what it is now is beyond just a mere survival. It's beyond survival. They are ready to do, they are planning a lot of things. So please, on that day, everybody should come out to vote. And if you don't have your PVCs, please also come out. Also come out. Come out in solidarity, because on that day, they've planned it. Look at what is happening today in what's it called, in Lagos, with our principal. And you realize that the voice of the people is truly the voice of God. But you can see the crowd. Look, they can't do anything with that crowd. They just can't do anything. They just can't. From where you are, they're already decimating you. So it's important people come out. Then secondly, uh, we also need to we also need to
Question is.
yes, the question is was to our big brother,
Pogu. Dr. Pogu.
Dr. Poku. Yes, thank you. Is recently, even I think today, there's a news update about we're not concerned, yes, about Southwest, just the campaign and structures in the north also to the APC from the Labour Party. It doesn't even move me anything, but my concern is how are we making sure, or how are we going to ensure that these defections, we know they are heads, they are people. How are we going to make sure that it does not affect our morale, and of course doesn't affect or undermine our effort towards ensuring that Peter Obi is the next person? That's the only question I have.
Thank you so much. Anybody who is struggling for emancipation has only one goal, that is getting to the destination. When you are convinced that Peter Obi has what it takes to be a president in terms of energy, integrity, developmental capacity, passion for Nigeria, which he has demonstrated, his track record, etc., nothing would dissuade you. People who defect usually do so having been induced through some form of inducement, be it monetary or whatever. So it should not dissuade, or at the least, disturb our resolve to ensure that what we believe in, the best which we believe we can have for Nigeria in Peter Obi, remains our focus. So members of this country who believe in this one singular goal, that we need to birth a new Nigeria and Obi is the person, shouldn't be dissuaded by any propaganda machinery, because some of these are actually done for as a propaganda machinery to affect people psychologically into believing that, yes, people are... What is there in APC? Tinubu, who doesn't even know his real age, and Shetima, who in Borno, people in Borno, because I'm from Borno, tagged as Boko Haram kingpin to come and give Nigeria what? If there isn't some inducement, why would such people leave something good for something which is destructive? So, Nigerians should be focused. I'm not being insultive here, but we can check the know that what I'm saying is true. Let's be focused. Know that we need a Nigeria that works. We need a Nigeria where every Nigerian will be proud of. We need a Nigeria that would progress. We need, as Peter Obi said, a Nigeria that would move away from consumption to production. So these are the things that people need to focus on and vote for Peter Obi, irrespective of whatever happens. Some people bring money on the day of election. Nobody should bother. The goal is we want a country that works, and Peter Obi is the person that can give us that country, and we should vote for him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So I'll bring in Bolanle in this order, please. Bolanle, Akani, Sisi Yemi, then Dozie. So we'll go in this order. And just 1 minute, please. Bolanle, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Oraye. Emir Saddam, I greet you, Dr. Mo. Dr. Pogu, thank you for joining us. It's amazing when we are able to sit at the feet of literally living legends, to hear, to take from the wisdom, the nuggets of wisdom that you give us and insight into our country that has existed before some of us were born. Like my question is more to do with, where the Middle Belt stands in Nigeria, right? So I didn't know a lot about the Middle Belt to this election cycle, because obviously we've seen Peter Obi making multiple visits to states, and then I started looking into it and noticed that, for example, you come from Borno, there might as well be two states in Borno, based on the differences between what we consider north of Borno and southern Borno. And my question is, surely there needs to be a situation where people, the Middle Beltons, feel that they're part of the country. And is part of that move, would it be that we need more states created that gives people more control of their resources and, their ability to participate in Nigeria? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. If you're states creation, I have been an advocate of states creation, of devolution of powers, what we call restructuring and all that. You see, we have problems with what we have now because all of us depend on the center for handouts at the end of the month. If there is the regulation of some of these powers, which are being held by the center, and states are allowed as federating units to operate in the structure of a true federalism. It doesn't matter how many states we have. People can run their activities, use and generate resources, and contribute to the center. And we can have a better place to live in the nation called Nigeria. The problem we have is we don't yet have a nation. If we have nation states within this enclave called there are people up there who believe they shouldn't even see the constitution as the grand norm, and they introduce some laws based on their religious beliefs and produce laws and ways of governance which are alien to other parts of the country. Now, rather than having these conflict between Sharia and the constitution, etc., etc., devolution of powers through federalism would allow groups to coexist. I'm not talking of confederation, but still within the federal system. But that works. And yes, we believe in the Middle Belt. There are states, places that should be created as states. Why should Southern Kaduna, with landmass bigger than Kano State, with producing votes that is much more than so many states as it exists, coexist as appendage of another state. Groups of people who would want to stay together and develop themselves should be considered. I believe by the time we have the right government in place, these things would be looked into. Maybe there could be better models than what we are talking about. For example, our brothers from the South, West feel, why don't we just even go to the parliamentary system, and then we have regions rather than states? All we know is, yes, some states are very big. Even in the US, there are some states. California state has an economy that is larger than so many countries in the world. I learned sometime in the past, California economy, which is just a state in the US, if compared with economies of different countries, rates about number 7 in the whole globe. So there are some states that are so poor in the US that also depend on federal support. So the issue is, yes, the way we perceive state creation now is not good enough, because we are basing it on the faulty structure we have, where the federal might is overbearing, and states come cap in hand looking for handouts at the end of the month based on what comes from one product, that is oil. So today there's oil all over the place. There are minerals that are can fetch us more money even than the crude oil which we are exporting. Even the coal which we have lying west in the Middle Belt can be harnessed and produce more money than the oil. As I was saying, that there's californium. I'm read chemistry, so I know the element californium is available. It's very costly mineral. Some people are just taking it, and it's not the monies from that is not going to the federal coffers. Instead, what we are getting is insurgency. So you see, things can be done in the right way, and everybody would benefit. Whether states will be created will depend on good governance, because if we get the right government, some of the agitation necessary. So let's get Obi in office. I believe Obi will do the job, and many of the clamorings will stop. However, we need to open the political space so that everybody will have a sense of belonging, because Nigeria is for all of us, not just for some people. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Obi will do the job loud and clear. Saddam, you need to come in to guide the next process. Akani, Doze, and Sisi Yemi are already on ground to ask their questions. Saddam, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, my brother. Good evening.
Okay, so guide these people to ask their questions, and you can bring more people. Good evening, my brother. Sorry about that. Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. I've been engrossed with the whole conversation. Good evening, sir. I think who is going next?
Akani.
Okay, Akani, you have this, please. In a minute, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Oraye. Thank you, Dr. Mo. The latest Emir in town, Emir Saddam. I greet you, my brother. And then thank you so much for the opportunity to come on this space. And I also welcome Dr. Pogu and then also appreciate your time with us on this space. My question is straightforward and simple. Over every time I think about our principal getting 4 endorsements from 6 regions in Nigeria, I feel so elated, I feel so happy, I feel so joyful. But when I think about past elections that we have several endorsements from several groups and likes of them, and even regions like that, it has never turned to vote. So my question is, sir, is there any plan or program on ground in turning the endorsement to vote for us to have a victory on that particular day come February 25th? Thank you so much. I yield.
The mobilization is out there, sir. People have their PVCs and they are ready to go out and vote. All I can tell you is wait and see the results, because the mobilization is on, and we're not joking when we say we are going to vote for Obi. We're going to do it. You're going to see the result, and by the grace of God, Obi will be sworn into office.
Amen. Amen.
Which is the date for handover. So just do your own part. We are doing our own. Play your own. We play our own. Jointly, we'll make it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Sisi, you're married there,
Yes,
please.
I am. Good evening, everyone, and the host and co-host for putting this series together. Thank you. And to Dr. Pogu, it's nice to have you here and allowing us tap from your wealth of knowledge. My question kind of follows the last participant, and is with regards to endorsements. You had mentioned that Arewa Middle Belt Forum, Ohanese, and Afenifere, that you all are on the same page with regards PO's candidacy. When are we going to expect an open endorsement from Arewa? Yes, there seems to be an inkling that they are all for it, but they're not coming out to endorse openly. Is this strategic? If it's strategic, can you explain? And if it's not strategic, what are you doing to get them to come out openly to endorse? Because like you answered just now, endorsement translates to votes. Yes, I'm kind of relieved that you guys are really working hard at it too, just like the Obedience and the Labour Party everybody's working hard at it. But I like to know, when do we expect to hear from someone representing that big forum, Arewa? Thank you.
Thank you so much. The answer is quite evident. On the ticket, we have Dati. You don't have to go looking for answers elsewhere. The answer is right there on the ticket. Dati is from Arewa. Dati is a younger brother to the spokesperson of the Northern Elders Forum. Dati will the ticket if they have not supported him to be on the ticket. And then we have massive support in some states in the north. There are some others who feel that, yes, we still believe in our own. We want to have somebody from the north. We want to have our Atiku, etc., etc. But given the ticket that we are working for, that they have contributed to somebody who they feel has the pedigree, the capacity to add value to the ticket. That's enough as a statement to say they are part of it. So you see, different people have different ways of expressing themselves. Our own will come out overtly to do it. There are some others who do it covertly. The important thing is the results. So wait and see. You're going to see votes coming from the North. And then, of course, the North is not what you think it is. That monolithic North of the past is no more there. The crisis recently has created cleavages between the Hausa and the Fulani, for example. Politically, those cleavages would benefit you and I, because the Nigeria we want birth is a Nigeria where the downtrodden are coming together to say, hey, we want a Nigeria that works. A Nigeria where the Hausa man will not be killed, slaughtered by the Fulani man just because he wants to take his land. A Nigeria where we without acrimony. So such people are there in the North, and they're going to vote for Obi. So don't worry, you cannot have, in a democracy, 100% acceptance. There are some people who would say no, but the important thing is that majority which we need to make Obi the president. And we will have the support of the North to make that majority. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, guys, let's take it. Please, if you're up and you want to speak, your hand should be up. If not, we'll have to drop for that speakers. Kelly, you have the space. Okay, Dozier,
No,
sorry.
Dozier has been up.
Dozier, please, then Kelly.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Good evening, my brothers and sisters. I'll be quick and straight to the point. Thank you, Dr. Pogu. I've listened to you, and it's quite enlightening, and I really thank you for everything you've done. Forums like this are good enough to celebrate people like you, but it's not even enough to actually, for the job you've done and the sacrifices you've made. I know what it takes to stand on the side of the people in seasons like this, when money is changing hands, and, you know, it takes a lot, and people who have been there know that when you come out unscattered, it's something to celebrate. My earliest memories of the Middle Belt region in Nigeria is when I was growing up, and my dad would drive us all the way from the east to Borno, sometimes to other states in the north. And then, you know, those days, the journeys are not one day. And sometimes we'll stop at Plateau and meet family, and it's just the experience is something else. And sometimes, you know, when you think about these things and realize how much damage the recent fight and everything that is going on there, and how much has damaged those areas, it just leaves you wondering, you know, and all you are left with are memories and everything. Now, I want to ask you, because I know that my political history may be a bit rusty, but I don't think there's any president of Southern extraction in Nigeria who has ever been president without winning the Middle Belt, right? So that's the reason why I think the support of the Middle Belt Elders Forum is very crucial to Peter Obi. I want to thank you for that support. Now, I just have one question. That question is, you have met with Obi, you've spoken with him in private, and he's also met a lot of the people in the Middle Belt in public. Is there any specific demands that you guys demand from in the event of an Obi's presidency, right? What does the Middle Belt really want out of all this? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Middle Belt want a better Nigeria, where the Middle Belters would be Nigerian citizens, free from their day-to-day activities in their ancestral lands without being molested by anybody. That other Nigerians who are also bona fide Nigerians, as defined in our constitution, will have the right to perform and do business as Nigerians without being molested, and that the constitutional provision that says the principal purpose of government is prosperity and welfare to the people is met. We know in the long run, when you have a president who is caring, who is just, everybody will have his right protected. And in so doing, we based everything on what I said earlier, equity, fairness, and justice. Because tomorrow we'll also say it is our time to produce somebody of the kind of Obi to move this country forward based on equity, fairness, and justice. As will say, yes, you've done it honorably in the past. Today, we can join you to do it honorably. Certainly, we believe that there will be development in the Middle Belt if Obi comes into office. Statutory, constitutional rights which are provided will be provided by Peter Obi when he comes to office. Things that will develop Nigeria, like dredging of the Niger and all that, ensuring that Ajakuta works, of mineral resources, and adding value so that we produce rather than become consumers will be achieved during his tenure, and the Middle Belt will be better for it. So our demands are demands that are legitimate, and we believe when good governance is there, all what we need would be satisfied. We are not selfish people who will say, you have to give us this, you have to give us that. No, we have not done that. What we've done is let's have the right person in office and come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So we'll take a next cue. Kelly, Vic Billy, and Odakaji. Please, if you're up and you want to speak, your hand should be up. If not, we'll have to drop you for that, people.
Thank you
Thank you.
very
Kelly,
much,
please,
sir.
a minute, please. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Bitrus, thank you very much for making time to come speak to us. I know you're a very busy man. But my question is that in 2019, based on the data that I saw, Benue State and Plateau State had only a total of 1.7 million voters who came out. In 2023, you have up to 5.6 million voters between these two states. And I know that North Central is one of the anchor legs for Peter Obi's victory. Is it possible for what do we need to do to ensure that there's mass voter turnout in this election? Because from all analysis and indication, if we have a mass voter turnout across all our key strongholds, we are going to win this election. So how do you move us from at least less than 2 million voters to at least 8 million in the North Center? Thank you.
Yeah, sensitization has been going on, and the APC government has done a very good job in making people know that there is need for Peter Obi to come and salvage the country. And people are going to come out of that motivation that we have to change this system that has taken us from where we were to where we are now. And that motivation is going out in mass to vote. Certainly, yes, insecurity, insurgency, and other vices have affected the Middle Belt so much, displaced people. But all the same, I can assure you that the bad performance of this government is enough motivation for our people to come out in mass and vote for Peter Obi. So just wait and see.
I like the fact that you're always telling us to wait and see, to anticipate.
Optimism.
I'm telling you, I love it. I love it. That means a lot of work is being done.
Certainly.
Oh wow.
Certainly.
Saddam, please. Sorry to interrupt. You can go ahead.
That's fine. Thank you, my brother. I think Vic Billy, you have the space, please. 1 minute.
Okay, yeah. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, the host, Dr. Mo Emia Saddam. Yeah, Dr. Bitrus, agree to you fundamentally. I must confess that your voice is so reassuring. You have maintained consistency with your answer. I've had two people asked you, what does the people of Middle Belt stand to gain when with His Excellency Mr. P2B's presidency, and you have always maintained good governance, good leadership, and that alone is a very huge takeaway for me. I just want to thank you for being consistent with the truth, with justice, equity, and fairness. May God Almighty reward you back. And for me, it's a vote of thank. Remain steadfast in a time where people are going with all these corrupt politicians. You've maintained your stand with the people of Nigeria. You've stood your ground with the people of Nigeria. May God in His infinite mercy bless you always. Thank you very much. I don't have any question for you. Your voice is so reassuring. I
Amen.
believe that you guys are doing a lot of work. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Oda, could you please have a space? 1 minute, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, Dr. Pogu. My link to the Middle Belt was actually through a gentleman called Gideon Paramalam, who's originally from Southern Kaduna, but has lived and worked in Jos.
Yes.
So I'm very passionate about Southern Kaduna because I learned an awful lot from him. My question now is very simple. Why are we not seeing any litigations about these lives that are lost at every turn? Just before Christmas, I think 40 people were slaughtered. Surely they have the right to life is basic, and it's government negligence. So why aren't litigations being brought against the government when these things happen? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Litigations in this regard, that is the killings, failure of constitutional, since the primary purpose of government is provision of security and welfare to the people, and the government has woefully failed. Now, where are you taking the case to? Is it to courts in Nigeria where you find judgments like the one between the Senate President and Machina, or to which court? So certainly there are going to be maybe when people are timing whatever they're going to do at the appropriate time in the appropriate courts of the right jurisdiction, maybe the ECOWAS court, maybe the International Criminal Court. I believe things are going to happen. Let's not preempt people. Let's just watch and see. If you have, thought it necessary for such to happen, and you've not seen it, there must be so many people out there thinking likewise. People would do something at the right time. So let's wait and see. The important thing here is many things have gone wrong in Nigeria. Let's get the right government in place. Of course, we will need to heal wounds. We'll need to conduct some serious reconciliatory moves to get people together again to work. You can't just wish things away. People just create, form themselves into a group of terrorists or bandits, and then attack communities, kill them. The government know where they are. All their locations are known by government. Anybody who says they are not known, doesn't know what is going on. Government know where they are, and yet they are left there. There are so many questions to be asked and so many answers to be demanded. When the time is ripe, I believe things will happen. But for now, the important thing is let's not deviate from the goal. Let's get the right government through Peter Obi, and things would start to work. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Uncle K, please, guys, if you're up as a speaker, please, your hand should be up, please, so we can pick you. So have a queue here, please. Okay, have the space, please. A minute, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Saddam, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, the host. Good evening, Dr. Pogu. I want to tell you that it's a privilege to have your ears and your attention at this point in time. Let me begin by thanking you for your patience and staying with us through so thus far. My question is this. Um, the issue of the ethnic minorities in Nigeria and the so-called ethnic minorities. And if I want to make example, I will specifically say the people of Southern Kaduna, the people of the Plateau region, the people of Benue State who have suffered and been casualties of a common enemy that we all know. It's a common enemy that we all know, but certain persons are protecting them. So my question, sir, is this. Is there a plan in place? Is there a plan in place to at least begin to mobilize for there to be a bill to be sent to the National Assembly? A bill for the protection of the minorities, a bill for the protection of these people that has become soft targets every now and then to the massacre, you know. And I want to assure you that if there's any such plan, you have the support of us in the down south, in the south. We will mobilize, we will join forces together to ensure that the bill is passed, especially as His Excellency P2B is coming on board. It's so important to me because I've had connection with the people in the southern Kaduna. Work has taken me in that region, especially Kafanchan and all those villages. Work has taken me there. So every now and then I see the injustice that they suffer. It's so painful. But alas, our hands are tied. But there's always something to be done. So that's what I'm saying. It's a suggestion. Is there any such plan? And when that plan is in place, we will mobilize and support you. You have the support of the south, and the southeast, even in the southwest. We will mobilize and support.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you. There are some things about Nigeria you need to know so that you'll be better educated on how things work. The military got us the structure which we have, the delineation of constituencies which make what we call the National Assembly. In the National Assembly, we have preponderance of some areas, others, because the military deliberately created constituencies in the north. And those constituencies have resulted to the overbearing presence and dominance of the north over the other parts of the country. Kano State has 44 local governments. When they took, after even taking Jigawa, it still has 44, and Jigawa has 20. About Katsina has 33. Katsina was taken out of defunct Kaduna, and the 2/3 of Kaduna left behind has only 23. Southern Kaduna has only 8 or so. Now, I'm just talking of the federal constituencies now and local governments. If you're going to elect somebody into an office, we usually have a collegiate system these days, and they could say one member per local would come in as a national delegate. I'm just giving you an example so that you know what is going on. And when that happens, you will find that just Kano and Jigawa, you add Katsina, they have more delegates than the whole of the Southwest. Are you getting me? So because of that, it is very difficult to do things and to right so many wrongs in this country now. Because the system we have, the structure we have, is skewed in favor of some people. Yes. So, when we cry for restructuring, correcting the imbalances, sometimes it's at state level, sometimes it's at the national level. There are some local governments, I've said this over and over again, where the deputy speaker of the House of Rep, hails is from Plateau, a local government called Wase. Compared to some of the nearby local governments, it's not a big local government, not so populated, but they made a federal constituency, one local government, to serve a particular interest. And this anomaly, all done by the military when they created states and created local governments, creating this disparity in constituencies. Even when you look down south, you find such thing. You compare Ondo and Oshun. Oshun is not larger in population and otherwise than Ondo. Oshun has 30-something states. What 30-something? Is it because somebody has some interest? But that is the problem we have in the structure we have. So pursuing some things now, the way it is, will just be waste of energy because the people who are beneficiaries of this skewed system will kill it. But I'm not saying it will not be approached. Neither am I saying we will not do it. But we have to right these wrongs first. And not to base things on landmass. Yes, some people are enjoying lots of resources from the federal post because of landmass. And there are some areas with large populations. And yet, the landmass thing is considered more than the population. So many things are wrong, sir. There's need to send out such bills, but you come and find out the members you have plus the members we have will still not be enough to pass such bills because the architects of our confusion, who are the military, have skewed it in favor of the people who are dominating this country. And that is something we seek redress for first, and then others will follow. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. All right, say Obi, you have the space, please. A minute, please.
Thank you, Saddam. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to ask this question.
Actually, that came as a
Me.
because we're expecting a mail.
Well, I'm a dead lady. Sorry. So,
Right.
on the 27th of May, 2021, my village in Benue State, Kasana local government was attacked. I lost a lot of relations and other people who had come to my village to seek refuge because they thought they'll be safe there. Primarily because my father is a retired general, so everyone in that vicinity felt like, you know, they could be safe there. Unfortunately, that attack happened. But I think for me, my biggest pain was finding out that, yes, the Fulanis were behind it. Yes, some of the people that attacked us were Fulanis, but majority of them were thief men, right? So it just got me thinking, what changed? What changed with the middle belt? I'm not that old, but I still have that sense of pride that the average thief person has. That the stories my father told me growing up was how we people from the Benue Plateau are really proud people. We have a lot of resources and all of that, and it just got me wondering, like, what happened to our leaders? How did we lose it to the point where you know our enemies can now pay us to kill our fellow people? Initially, they said these jihadist people were not Nigerians. Oh, that's fine. We're not Nigerians, but now they're paying Nigerians to do the dirty work. So I guess my question to you is, or rather, my actual question is, in these dialogues that are happening now, I'm glad that you're telling us that as leaders of the Middle Belt, these conversations are happening. And I can't wait for an Obi presidency, but I feel like there's so much that has gone wrong even, at that subnational level that needs to be fixed. And no one can fix it but our leaders, especially the traditional leaders, all the different classes of chiefs, whoever they are. I think they've lost their place. They became so political that they fail to do their jobs. And that's why so much of the shit that goes on is going on. So, sir, my question to you is, please, in those conversations that you guys are having, Peter Obi is a wonderful man, but he can't fix most of what is broken. Are you guys having dialogues around some of these issues that need to be fixed outside of the presidency? And if you're not, can you start having those conversations as well? I think, growing up, I heard that the Totiv had power to call the Tiv Nation to a standstill. But right now, that feels like that power has disappeared. I don't see it. I don't know. I can't speak for other, like your Chidoma or the Galas or other tribes, but at least within the Tiv Nation, I feel like that power isn't there anymore. The lower chiefs don't even have a say anymore. So can you please start having that dialogue in that direction as well, if you're not already doing so? Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. That's, a very positive concern. Some dialogue is going on, advocacy is going on, but the issue is people need education. Education and literacy are two different things. People need to understand why one has to uh, be his brother's keeper. It is unfortunate that some people, as you said or mentioned earlier, are being paid to kill their brothers. It is happening all across the country. It is not only in the Middle Belt. We have lots of things happening even in the Southeast. And we know it isn't that Southeasterners are the ones doing it. It may be even people outside, but who are, pretending or claiming to be Southeasterners just to discredit the people. So these things in nature do happen. But as people get educated, people will soon, rather later, understand that it is not worthwhile being used against your people. So I believe that with time, not only here within the Middle Belt, but in all other parts of the country, people will come to understand that through advocacy, through pure education, and through engagements, as you said, through town hall meetings, etc., understand that yes, we are one people. We have to birth a nation, not to continue states within a nation. And in a nation, we should live together in peace and harmony and develop ourselves as a collectivity so that others outside will see that, yes, these people have come of age and they can live together in peace and develop their country as a nation. So thank you so much for the suggestion. The little that we are doing, we will improve on to ensure that there is peace in the Middle Belt. And just as I said earlier, even these attackers, there are better ways of resolving these issues. I said our local Fulani are known to every community, and it is a good policy from government that will trigger a system where they will stop being nomads and ranch their cattle, and they will be better off ranching anyway. But you ask the question, why are they pushing them to the Middle Belt rather than keeping them in Katsina or in Zamfara or in northern Borno? Because in Borno, we have people who also have cattle, the Shua Arabs. They don't leave Borno, neither do they leave Yobe. They farm, they keep fodder, and feed their cattle. They don't leave Borno. Why are the Fulani different? Why can't they stay in one place? So it goes beyond just herding. It goes beyond movement from one place to the other. This change in culture in tradition to something more modern, more beneficial, can be achieved with better government policies. And Nigerians, we cannot allow our people who are foreigners to be used just for political reasons to come and occupy our land. That wouldn't work. And anybody who is doing it, whether now or later, is only seeking for problem. And I can assure anybody who is listening that weapons don't. It is people who fight. So whatever weapons they have, let them know that it is people who fight. So in the end, we better seek peace and live together in peace. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Ebuka, please.
Madam, we'll be wrapping up
Yeah.
in about 15 minutes. So we'll just take the hands that are there so that Miles, you're raising your hands now. Okay, we'll take the hands that are already on the platform so that we'll wrap up and he will give his parting words. After that, then I'll call up Mr. Valentine Uzugo to give us a sense of what's happening around the country with the obedient movement and the campaigns, rather.
All right, thank you very much, brother. Ebuka, please, a minute, please. Thank you.
Yeah, Saddam, please confirm if you can hear me because I don't know my phone is.
Go on.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I just wanted to confirm earlier during the campaigning, we had issues of people identifying with the Labour Party flag, especially in the rural areas of the Middle Belt. I don't know if there has been significant progress with this, and if people are also being educated on how to vote on that day, like some new voters that we have over there as well, so that we don't waste any vote at all. We don't have any void votes over there because one vote is very important for us. Thank you very much, sir.
Very good. That's a very good observation. The existence of the Zenith label, which has not been taken off the ballot, because that's something which should have been done. The symbols are the same. The only difference is that we have 5 people on one and the label 3. Mother, father, Pekin. That's how people put it. Now, we need more of samples going around. That is necessary. Because in the villages, some people may not easily differentiate between that of the Zenith label and the Labour Party. And another thing that should have been done, I don't know if there has been any effort in that direction, if the Zenith label has voluntarily agreed, to now, go back into the Labour and form or constitute one group, why should their emblem be on the ballot? I think that is mischievous. And I believe that it may not be still late or too late to take it down, because we need just the Labour emblem, not the Labour and the Senate label. The Labour emblem is known by everybody. The colors are known. The three is also known. And that should be what we would vote for. There's need to continue with voter education and let people in the villages, especially the old, the elderly, people who are not well educated, to see and differentiate and say, this is the Labour symbol, and you vote accordingly. So it's good you brought this to the fore, and there's still need for education within this period. Those that are not versed with the true symbol of the Labour Party, for which they would vote and stamp their print for Peter Obi, would be adequately enlightened to do the needful. So thank you very much for bringing it to the fore. Let our people do the needful, and ensure that we harvest the maximum votes on the 25th of this month.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Bankole, please have the space in a minute, please.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Pogus, for all your efforts at the collaboration, just bringing in Pandef, Afenifere Ohanize, and all these groups that really stand patriotic to move Nigeria forward. We've seen people like Pa Debanjo or Basunjo, Pa Edwin Clark coming out very boldly to openly declare support for Peter Obi and Labour Party. And we've seen your contribution as well from Middle Belt, a very loud and sound voice, just asking people to vote for Peter Obi. So I really appreciate all of that, and I'm sure so many Nigerians do so. So the quick question I have for you is, I don't know if it's been asked, so pardon me because I joined the space a little late. But the question I have for you, sir, is how come we haven't heard the voices of the likes of General Gowon, Danjuma, who are prominent in the Middle Belt, just coming out very boldly in support of this Bidati campaign? And I also wanted to know if the Middle Belt Forum, as well as this other collaborative partnership with Afenifere, and so whether you've reached out to Northern Elders Forum or Arewa Consultative Forum, just to get even a stronger presence in the North to support this movement. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You might not have been watching the developments, but TY, General Anjuma, came out boldly to lend his voice and support for Peter Obi. Just a week, or let's say 2 weeks before now, the Elders Council of Middle Belt met and took a decision to come out openly, have a press conference and say, we, the elders, in support of our younger generation, are also saying we are with Peter Obi. Unfortunately, the leader, the chairman of the Elders Council, passed on. That is Air Commodore Dan Suleiman. And of course, that declaration of his passing away. So you see, the working committee is the body that does the day-to-day candidate for the election 2023. And we are working earnestly to actualize what we have pronounced. Our brothers up north have tried to answer this question earlier. I said everybody does his thing the way he's deemed it fit. Their own is more covered, but their contribution of dati to me is speaks volumes. If they would say yes, we have a young man here who also has a track record, and we want him to work with Obi to add value to the presidency. I think they have spoken. So expect the results when the time comes. But I can assure you, we are going to harvest a lot of votes from the north. Don't doubt it a bit. Our problem has been because we didn't have time, so many people have infiltrated the structure of the campaign and also the party, to the extent that, yes, we have detractors here and there. But the people out there are determined. They want the birthing of the new Nigeria. All of us are advocating. the results, would justify what we believe on the 25th, when you're going to see very good results in the Northwest, in the Northeast, and other parts of the far North, where you feel the Arewa has, holds sway. But I can assure you they are part of it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Dams 98, you have the space, please. 1 minute, please.
Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm from the Middle Belt. I'm from Kogi State. Dr. Pogu, it's very nice getting to ask you this question directly. I'm passionate about forging a sense of identity in the Middle Belt and a sense of solidarity. And as you rightly noted, we are the most diverse region, both geographically and demographically in Nigeria. So it hurts me when we are called minorities because we are the most consequential region in Nigeria. But unfortunately, we've not been able to leverage our powers because we don't as yet have a meaningful sense of Middle Belt solidarity, at least for political purposes. I know you are doing a lot already to foster this sense of solidarity amongst our peoples. So for us, the younger ones, we want to do our part, right? So what do you think we can do to foster this solidarity, not only locally, but across state lines? How do we sensitize our people that we are not central, but Middle Belt? How do we foster cooperation amongst our academics, traditional institutions, and other sociopolitical organizations? Because I believe that beyond 2023, we need to be more intentional about fostering this sense of solidarity amongst the peoples of the Middle Belt. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think you've made my day. That has been the effort all along. The first problem we had was the colonial government, when it was necessary to have the Willings Commission to go across the north to identify the national, neither under the Caliphate nor under the Sultanate of Borno when they came, and to get their views with regards to whether or not a region should be formed or constituted for them as the British were living. The same British conspired because they wanted the North to be the dominant factor when they leave this country. And we were denied that opportunity. And through indirect rule, we found not being in control of our political space and even our environments. We were placed under the Emirate system or the Sultanate system of Borno. But you see, the struggles don't just achieve goals in a day. At least the consciousness is there. And that consciousness is what we believe would be the driving force. Yes, some others in the past have moved us to where we are. At least we now have a more unified definition of who we are. And it is for us to dissuade our people from being used as willing tools, as people say, put it, in the hands of others, and take our destinies in our hands. The motto now is there clear: our people, our land, our heritage. And with that, I think youth who would be better positioned to drive this would take us to the promised land. Unity in diversity is what we have to advocate, and what touches one touches all is what we also have to advocate. And in doing that, we can create or carve for us a niche, which both politically and otherwise, so that as Middle Belters we can also determine our future in Nigeria. Yes, the falling of monolithic North, which our elders fought for vehemently and promoted the North over and above our interests, till now that we find that what is North doesn't actually carry us along. I think that should be also a driving force. And I believe with people like you who are committed towards ensuring that the middle come of age and carve an identity for itself, the thing would work with your effort and the little that we are doing at this moment. But we believe our youth will make it. Our youth will take us to the promised land. Thank you, sir.
All right, let's
Thank
take the last question for the day. I think
yeah.
Obidati advocate.
No, I think we can wrap it up now. We've been with him for about 2 hours, and we said we're going to restrict our pace to 2 hours. So I think we can wrap it up now, please. Thank you so much. Maybe in the next space we'll give more opportunities to people to ask questions. But this particular space has been very engaging, because in all the 5 spaces we've had with the living legends, this is the very one that participants had the latitude of time to really engage, and I think it's nice. But we can't go on and on and on and on and on. We need to go on to some things.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you comment.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Valentine, is that you?
Yes, it's me.
Okay, go ahead, please.
I'm here physically with the legend himself.
Oh wow.
I tap him from the air. I'm tapping physically. So let me especially appreciate Dr. Pogu. There's a lot of behind both of us. I remember when we were running around looking at how this election is going to pan out long before primary. That was when I engaged him, and it was easy for me to tell this kind of personality he is. Then, at some point, we were almost losing hope of having this type of scenario where, in fact, anybody from the Southeast would emerge, even though we thought that was the best thing for the unity and for justice to reign in this country. But we saw how only PDP and APC were going, and we didn't think there was any existence of Labour. And we sat down to say, okay, what could be the plan B? What do we do with all this effort from the ethnic nationalities? And he said to me clearly that we must go south, or whatever happens. So I left, with that sense of, here are people who just stand on what is right, no matter whose ox is God. So I want to especially thank him. As a matter of fact, just like the Nigerian youths for leading this movement, these elders indeed deserve a lot more, because it is rare. People of their generation, you could almost blame for all that is wrong about Nigeria. But for us to be able to, find people who are distinctive enough out of these lots, we owe them a full list of celebrations. So please, all of you, join me in celebrating all of them, from Pa Adebanjo to Chief Clark, to Senator Boknak Kerele, to Chief Nyawo, to Dr. Pogu. We've also invited President Obasanjo to this series, and once he confirms, we will have him on Twitter Space.
You've let it out of the bag, sir.
And let me say this, for all of you, if you also think of other living legends you'd like us to talk to on this space, send DMs, and then we'll take it from there. And then may God bless all of you, and victory is ours. Aluta continua.
Amen. Victory is ours. Aluta continua. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we wrap up the 5th edition of our Living Legends series. We've been honored with your presence. We thank our living legends for being part of this. Until next time, now you know that President Obasanjo is coming. So by the time we are set with President Obasanjo, we'll let you know, and I'm sure you'll be ready to engage him meaningfully. I don't know. Is somebody saying something? Okay. Thank you, Saddam. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Dr. Mo. And thank you, our guests from around the world who tuned in. Thank you very much. This is me signing out, as always.